Hi, I'm Dr. Kim Logan-Nowlin.
I'm Logan-Nowlin.
And welcome to Making It Work. Within the city of Detroit and many other metropolitan cities, you hear about tragedies and murders and homicides. But today is close to home. We have a very special guest with us today, Arthur, on Making It Work. But before we introduce our guest, we've lived in Detroit. I love Detroit. I believe in my city. We call it, we believe in her because she's on her way back. But what are some of the things that you have known or seen when it comes to homicides in the city of Detroit?
Well, actually, I haven't seen a lot of homicides, but I know that the city has had a great deal, a major increase in homicides, especially by looking at the news and talking to some of the police officers that I know. A lot of them are not even reported. Because it's just so many of them every day. But what I'm concerned about is the fact about the young people that's participating in this. It's not so where so many domestic violence situations, but we have a lot of young people that are resorting to violence to solve their problems.
And that's not a way to solve your problem. Well, about a year and a half ago, I met a young man, and this young man was a student in my class at Wayne County Community College. He just wasn't the average student. He was above excellence. And I knew that by the way he carried himself, the way he spoke. He always said, "Yes, ma'am." And it made me feel so proud. But his work was excellent. If anyone's had me as a professor, they know I do not tolerate anything but excellence. And even when it came to a rewrite, once he did it the first time, he knew my standards, and they were high because I was putting my stamp on his future. But I want to welcome this wonderful person to our program, Making It Work. Welcome, Jerrell Shine. God bless you.
God bless you.
Welcome.
God bless you, sir.
This is your first time meeting my husband?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Well, sometimes he in the past, he's taken over my class if I was out of town.
Okay.
But you were blessed to have me the whole 16 weeks.
Yes, I was.
And I think you only had to miss one class. Was it the one class you had to go out of town? You went to Jamaica?
Yes, ma'am.
See, I remember it because you never missed class.
I'm just amazed that this young man had the tenacity to stay in your class.
If you had to say anything about my class, what would you say?
She reminded me of my mother.
Okay. Well, that's one reason for you to stay in her class.
And then why? Why? Tell him why.
Because others thought that she was demanding, but I saw that she saw more for her students, like, you can do it. And that's what she was aiming to pull out of every student. Some students rather walk out and leave, drop the class. I'd rather stay.
And tell him my favorite speech. Because I teach speech 101 in the communication department. What was my favorite speech?
That I did?
Yes. What was my favorite one? I played with the toys.
Oh, okay. My radio-controlled helicopter.
The entertainment speech.
The entertainment speech, the
That
last
was your
one.
speech.
Yes.
I played with the remote control, and I got up and I played with it. I wrecked it a couple of times.
Yeah.
But he got an A all the way through. And so, to bring it to now, I received a phone call at my office at our private practice here in Detroit. And as soon as my administrator said his name, and I said, that's my A student, because I don't give too many A's. And so when I called him back, he said, Dr. Kim, I need to come see you. Not knowing, didn't know anything, but my administrator, she recognized his name immediately. And she pulled the story off the internet. She put it on my desk. I read it. It broke my heart. And that's why I asked him to come, to tell his story. And he gives God all the glory. He loves the Lord. But you must hear this story and this testimony. So, Jerrell, why don't you start off when you got the call going into the barbershop?
I was actually parked at the Coney Island across the street from the barbershop. Well, my car was in drive. I received a call. I was about to put it in park. It was in drive. I received a call. And come on, I need you. I put my car in reverse, bagged out, put it in drive, and left and went to my grandmother's home. And I walked through the door and I saw some stuff that I did not completely expect to see. Mm-hmm. It smelled like gunpowder and blood.
Mm-hmm. What did you see?
I saw my grandmother sitting on the floor and I started checking her vitals. She looked just like my grandma, but she was not responding to me. And that's abnormal for her in our relationship. I heard something in the basement. I went to the basement. It was my sister running and hiding because she didn't know who was coming down the basement steps. And I said, Carver. She said, get mama, get my mama, get mama. I say, where is she? She say, right there. I look, and my mother was on the floor. And I jumped down the steps, mama, mama. She was not talking to me. That's abnormal, because if she would speak for anybody, she would speak for me. You know, she didn't respond to me. I grabbed her left arm, checking vitals. No vitals. And it's very heartbreaking for me to sit here and talk and still stand and yet keep a smile, you know, but it's an everlasting pain.
I can imagine that something like that would be just devastating.
But what else did you see?
When I went back upstairs, I saw my aunt telling me, get your baby is on the couch. And I'm like, you know, I was confused, like, what do you mean? How is he even here? I saw my son on the couch and I went and I saw him and I grabbed him and he said, Uncle D shot me, Daddy. And I say, what? And I'm checking for red. I'm checking for blood on his clothes. I didn't see none. And he was like, no, he shot at me. He shot at me, Daddy, pointing to the side of the couch, and I just grabbed him.
So he didn't hit him?
Thank God, by the grace of God, he didn't.
And
but
he was your son?
Jerrell Jr., that's my son.
And how old is he?
He's 3.
3 years old. So the bullets hit him, missed him.
Yes, ma'am.
And he just laid still.
Yes, ma'am.
So then what happened?
I grabbed a cover, my grandmother's throw rug, a cover. I just threw it over his head and ran him out the house because my grandmother was sitting on the kitchen floor and I didn't want him to see anything else. So I ran him out across the street and I come back in because I'm the #1 EMS at this point. I see EMS, I see police officers, but it's so normal for them to see things like this to where they're not concerned. They're in the house. They're just standing over there, people laying on the ground, and EMS outside.
You work for EMS?
No, sir, not at all. Okay,
so you're just taking every responsibility.
My mother's a registered nurse, so she always explains to me about vitals, blood pressure, stuff like that. So I'm very aware of checking vitals. Okay. So I come back in the house and I hear my auntie saying, Real, Amir's in the back. I say, Amir's in the back? At this point, my mind is going, I'm like, well, who else is on the floor in this house?
And who's Amir?
Amir is my 7-year-old cousin.
Okay.
My baby cousin, beautiful little princess of the family. I goes in the bathroom and I see her laying like face down on the ground and it's like blood everywhere, and I see a very distinct thing that sticks in my head, a bloody handprint on a tub, and it's a kid's handprint, and that's, you know, I see it right now.
Mm-hmm. Who did this?
When I was on the ground with my mom, you know, I asked my sister, I said, well, who did this? She said, Fidarius.
Fidarius is who?
My mother's sister's son. He's my first cousin. Up until this point, we was like brothers. I never smelt this coming, never saw it coming. Or it's like I heard the young man saying earlier, we only see this on the news. Mm. I've always saw this on the news. Mm. I've never experienced this in my family. I wasn't raised like that. My grandmother did not teach us things of this nature. My mother went to college. She was a registered nurse. She showed me that you can go to school. You can provide a different life for yourself in spite of where you come from.
Mm-hmm. And so your grandmother no vitals. She was gone. She had passed away.
Yes, ma'am, but my grandmother looked as if she had a better chance, because my mom's eyes was open, wasn't blinking, and people don't have their eyes open for 2, 3, 4 minutes at a time without blinking. I came to grips with it when I grabbed her arm. I couldn't feel any spirit in her arm, so to speak. So I say, well, Real, you can save your grandma. Go back up there and save your grandma. Because my grandma's eyes was closed and she looked as if, she looked just like grandma, you know?
So he came and asked, okay, let's go back. What caused this situation to happen? What was the factor that caused your first cousin, your mother's sister's child, to come in and take the life of your grandmother, your mother, and his own child? What was it?
Okay, me saying what it was would be my opinion.
Okay.
That's an answer that only he can answer.
Well, what do you think happened that caused this to happen? Where was he earlier that day?
Well, where he was earlier that day was he went to court. And what I would understand, what I feel what caused him to do this is a lot of people cannot handle pressure. Mm-hmm. Some people look at problems and issues as if they're problems and issues when it's really not. Things that you have control over, control it. Things that you cannot control, like my situation today, I gotta leave it in the hands of God. I cannot control this. There's no man in the world that would allow another man to manhandle their mother, their grandmother, and another child at their grandma's home. I'm not that kind of man, let's just say that.
So was he mentally competent, or had he got to a point where he just was impulsive and angry about a particular thing, or what?
The man is as sane as me here sitting talking to you right now.
Okay.
You know, I've talked, I'm born in 83, he's born in 84. There's nothing I don't know about him. Mm-hmm. There's nothing he don't know about me. Only thing I can really say is he had to be very, very angry to do something like this. Mm-hmm. He had to be very, very angry to do something like this. You don't turn a gun onto your mother's sister and your mother's mother, your grandmother and your daughter. And I don't understand that.
Can you go back and talk about what happened in court, what you shared with me that could have triggered this? Because he went to pick his daughter up at school. He had his daughter with him.
Yes.
And then went to your grandmother's home.
Yes.
And so something happened at court to possibly trigger this situation.
Yes, he had been just telling me about, I'm about to take her mother to court. She's about to, because mind you asked me earlier, was he mentally competent? He was granted full custody of his daughter. Mm. He had a CCW gun permit, so that would answer your question, right? Okay. Earlier that day, he went to court, taking her mom to friend of the court, the Penobscot building, for trying to get child support from her. And they denied him child support, the courts did. Mm-hmm. And I believe that could trigger, but that's not enough to murder your daughter, your auntie, and your grandmother.
Mm-hmm. No, it's not enough to murder anyone.
Exactly.
But apparently he became unstable to the point where, and when we talk about mentally, the instability that he demonstrated was initiated because of a decision. So his rage became so overwhelming that he didn't think about what was the consequences of his actions. He just reacted in a negative way. And that was something that he must have thought about prior to the whole incident. I mean, even before the court. I'm under the impression that there was some real consideration or some real thoughts about if the court did not go his way.
Honestly, sir, I don't understand the angle. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm not here to justify anything for nobody. I'm here to stand tall for my family, my mother, my grandmother, my 7-year-old cousin. I'm not here to glorify, justify anything that he's done.
Didn't you tell me his mother was there in the house, but he did not kill his mother? He hit or he knocked her down, but he did not shoot and kill his mother.
No, he didn't.
And he shot around his mother to shoot at his child. He shot at his child 4 times.
That's what's been stated. I wasn't there, but his mom was there present in the home when this took place, and yes, thank God she's still alive.
So now, a few weeks after your mother and your grandmother, you buried them, you continue to go to Children's Hospital here in Detroit to visit your little cousin. And then shortly thereafter, she had another operation. How many operations did she have?
Honestly, I don't know, but she was in there like 5 weeks. I'm pretty sure she had at least 2 to 3 operations and probably had a few more to go through.
She lived?
Yes, she lived for 5 weeks till March 22nd, 2013, yes.
I would like for you to show our viewers your picture of your mother and grandmother and your little cousin.
Okay, this is the picture of my mother and my grandmother's obituary.
What's their names?
My grandmother's name is Geraldine Bates, and my mother's name is Santangela Deandra Shine Williams. They're my favorite women in the world. I love
They're beautiful.
them. I know I look just like her. And here's a picture of my little cousin, Amira Jones. She's 7. I call her Mir, my little princess.
Precious.
And this is just a picture I got of my beautiful grandma again. This was at her birthday at the Cheesecake Factory. I believe she was turning 68. And as you see, they have these unique smiles, and I just have to continue to keep on smiling for them, you know? That's what I have to do.
It's amazing.
It's just amazing. You know, to know you on one side as a student and to have known him like this, and when he sat with me in my office, and I felt honored, I felt blessed by the Lord that he called on me, and he said, Dr. Kim, I need some help to get through this. And I sat there in my chair, and I was speechless. I could not believe what I had read or heard. And when I saw his face, because always in school, just a beautiful, happy countenance, you know, and he tried to express to other students, take the negative and turn it into good. And I see that's what you're doing now. You've come here to tell your story, to let people know that you're going to have tragedies in your life.
Yes.
And how you have to overcome. How does God play a role in your life? You know, where's God with you now?
Well, honestly, God is all I have, because without God, I put it to you like this, there's a lot of people that walking into a house, seeing the things that I've saw, smelling the things that I've smelled, going to a service, seeing your mother and your grandmother, you know, it's a lot of people that would have negative thoughts about what's their next move going to be, but I've never felt that way. I have a brother and a sister that my mother always told me to take care of if anything was to happen to her. I have 2 kids. I have a fiance. I have a stepfather. I have 2 aunts that I still have, and I'm still Jerrell Shine. I'm still the same guy. It's just I'll never be the same again. You know, I'm living, I'm here, and I'm smiling, but you know, it's very different for me.
You had talked to your mom. I'm sorry. You had talked to your mom. It was Valentine's Day. She was surprised by your stepfather with the flowers. You were telling me about that. That was so cute. You know, she wasn't expecting that. But you had just talked to your mother.
Yes, I was on the phone with her. Yes, yeah.
And a few hours, was not even an hour, a few hours later?
It wasn't like that. I talked to her for 9 minutes, 59 seconds, and she say, okay, bye, Real, love you, all right, bye, this D, he pulling up right now, all right, bye, love you, bye. And 20 to 30 minutes later, about 30 minutes later, 40 minutes later, I was getting these crazy calls about, we need you, you know, so.
So she told you, D is pulling up.
Yeah,
And
she
you
was
didn't
just
think anything, because that's...
I just talked to him Valentine's night on February 13th. We was together at my mom's house, and all right, love you, cuz. All right, love you too. You know, we don't have a violent family. The police is not at our house every week or every year, once a year. We're people that go to college, go to work, raise our family, pay our bills, you know, pay your house note first, pay your rent first, then your bills, your utilities. But that's the kind of family I have. Structured, responsible, independent people.
You hadn't had any contact with this cousin at this point. You haven't thought to ask him why, gone to the court to see him or to the jail to talk to him. Is that difficult for you to do?
Honestly, Dr. Nowlin, I can't tell you how I would react to seeing him. I don't know. I don't know. I know I couldn't shake his hand and smile and talk to him cordial like I talk to you. I understand that much.
So, yes, court proceedings are all over now. He's sentenced, or
no, it just happened in February. I'm not for sure what they're doing, but we go to court in May next month, and I'm gonna go.
You're going to go? You
Yes,
you're
ma'am.
gonna go.
I'm most definitely gonna go. I have to go. I have to go. I have to see the justice system prevail, so to speak.
And your faith, you say your faith has gotten you through your relationship with God.
Yes.
You know, so where, and I heard you talk about caring for your siblings, and
Yes.
that's what your mom wanted you to do. You know, so how has this affected you, you know, as a person?
Oh, okay. Well, as a person, like I say, I was born in '83. The assailant was born in '84. We went to the park when we were 3, 4. We went to the arcades. We went to Chuck E. Cheese. We even dated girls that hung together. You know, we partied together. We basically lived together as brothers. You know, his mom and my mom's sister, they raised us together. So how it changed me, it has me looking at everybody different. It has me looking at everybody different. It just do. I never expected nothing like this to happen.
So what's next for you?
What's next for me is I owe my mother a bachelor's in mortuary science. That's what she told me, to make sure I finish, make sure I finish my school, make sure I continue traveling, continue taking care of my family. Basically, keep living life, don't let life live me. That's how my mom lived. Live life, don't let it live you.
And where you attended school?
Oh, Wayne County Community College.
Well, I thought he might have gone to Wayne State after.
Well, he's going to make that
getting ready.
jump.
Yeah, I
Wayne
thought
State.
he's already made that. I understood that he was a student, but you know, they don't stay there, do they?
Now, you know, some of them do, though. You know, but Jerrell is not going to be one of the ones who stay there. You know, you moving on.
Yes, ma'am.
I think what's important here is that, you know, your mother and your grandmother was in the body of Christ.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And, you know, the Bible says when the trumpet shall sound and the dead in Christ will rise first, and the voice that they will hear will be that of Jesus Christ. And as they come out of the grave, you know, oh, death, where is your victory? There is no victory in death, because Jesus Christ is the answer.
Yes.
And you have to hold on to that. And I want to encourage you, because, you know, I talked about the Lord in my classes, and I wasn't afraid to talk about the Lord. But the key factor is that the enemy is going to try to attack you. I want to ask you, how is your son doing? And are you getting counseling for him?
Yes, ma'am.
And your sister?
My sister, me, my brother, my sister, my stepfather, and my 2 aunts, we're all going to counseling. I have my son going to counseling for kids. They have a special program for kids, and he's going. My brother and my sister, we all go every week together, and me and my 2 aunts, we go together. So we're all taking the necessary steps to just help build our faith back and build our trust in society, so to speak.
And to build your family back.
Yes, yes, yes.
How's your stepfather? Because your mother would have been 50 this year.
May 18th, yes, ma'am.
May 10th.
May 18th.
18th, and you all were planning a big celebration for her.
Yes, yes.
You know, how's your stepfather doing?
He's doing, I can't say he's doing great. He's not. We're just staying together. You know, when I get weak, they pick me up. When he get weak, I pick him up. And we're a team. You know, we're a team. We got to keep the ship sailing. That's what we must do.
I think what would be hard for me was the fact that this is not a stranger from the streets or somebody that's trying to rob or take advantage of me.
What you're saying.
You know, it's somebody that I grew up with and loved and, you know, shared things with.
Yes.
But he lost control because if you grew up in the church and you had that church background, apparently he did too.
Yes, yes, sir.
You
yes,
know,
sir.
was he continuing? I mean, before this incident happened, did he continue to go to church, or had he stopped, or what?
Him and my grandma would go to church sometimes. Yeah.
Was he under the influence of any type of substance?
I'm not for sure. I wasn't with him on Valentine's Day nor the 15th, so I'm not for sure.
Was his the child's mother and him, were they at odds with each other? You know, they were going to court. He wanted child support because he had had the child for since birth.
He had for about 4 years.
He had full custody.
About 4 or 5 years, yes.
And then you tell me that he represented himself in court.
Yes.
He didn't have an attorney.
He won custody by representing himself in court. So he's not incompetent.
He's a very intelligent person. For him to represent himself in court and win full custody, you know, from a mother,
Yes.
you know, that says a lot. And evidently his character had to be weighed. You know, he worked. He had to be able to support this child.
But in 59 seconds that we have left, you know, apparently, what was the relationship between the mother and him? Was it always tumultuous?
His mother?
I mean, his wife. I mean, the daughter's mother.
And him?
Yeah.
I mean, they've been at odds. You know, he got full custody of their daughter, so that's a problem in itself. You know, not seeing eye to eye, not being in the same union, not being in the same household together, that would create a conflict with any couple.
Well, you know, we're going to be doing part 2 to this, and we have more to come, more to share about this story. But right now, we just want to say thank you for sharing this part with us, and we look forward to part 2 with you. Jerrell, continue to hold on, and we want to thank you. Arthur, I'm Dr. Kim Logan-Nowlin.
I'm Arthur Nowlin.
And thank you for joining us on Making It Work. God bless.